It doesn't matter if it's Atlanta, Mexico, New York, or even France. The Walking Dead continues to prove that it is literally a dead show. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, and the numbers are in. The viewership is in for The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. And it's not good. In fact, it's a disaster for Daryl Dixon. Not only was the premiere lower than the Dead City premiere, but the second episode absolutely flopped, proving that this show is not good. Daryl Dixon is not a good character, and pretty much at this stage in 2023, nobody wants to watch The Walking Dead. Now, the premiere Lama Perdue did a 0.631 million viewers, which is pretty poor. It's down on Dead City. We're talking nearly, 80,000 people down on Dead City. But then episode 2, Alouette, did 0.564. So again, they lost another big chunk of the audience. And when you compare this to Dead City, episode 2 of Dead City actually had a slight increase. Episode 2 of Dead City increased from the premiere, whereas the Daryl Dixon show, after the premiere, we've seen a loss of like 80,000 viewers, and the reason for that is the premiere wasn't any good. It absolutely sucked. It was not good, and I think there's 3 reasons why this show in general isn't good, but also in comparison to Dead City, it certainly is not good. And let's go through those reasons. So, number 1, we've got Daryl Dixon. He is not an interesting character. Maybe he was a decade ago in the early seasons of the original Walking Dead, but right now, this current version of Daryl Dixon, he is not interesting. He hasn't been interesting in a very long time, and as a lead character, he ain't good enough. We do not care. He is fucking boring. He just walks through the forest grunting. Sophia, that's the kind of shit we get for Daryl Dixon. And now he's doing it in France. So we've got a guy that's not talkative, a guy that doesn't really say anything, a guy that doesn't really offer anything. Yeah, he's got a crossbow and looks like a homeless guy, but apart from that, what does Daryl Dixon really bring to the plate? Absolutely nothing. And let's talk about the location. Okay, we might be in a different country. We might be in France. It might supposed to give us a different environment and look different, but in reality, it doesn't. It looks like the same old Walking Dead. You've got the bland colours in the background. There's like lots of forests. We're out in the middle of nowhere. They showed us a couple of landmarks, but since then we've seen nothing, and it's just been these like old country roads, and it's just like watching the Walking Dead original. At least with Dead City, they went to New York, they went to the city, and it did look different. Seeing the zombie apocalypse from not a populated city, because of course everyone's dead, but there was a lot more walkers that you would expect in the city, and then you've got the closest environments because we've got buildings and there's like less places to, you're less places to run, well, more places to hide, but you're like crammed in, and so to speak. So it gives you a more horror element, in my opinion, being trapped in that Manhattan city. But I mean, we're in France and it's just like open world essentially, and you've just got Daryl out in the middle of nowhere. How many times have we seen this? You look at all the locations in The Walking Dead, they all appear to be in the middle of nowhere, whether it be Herschel's farm, whether it be the prison, whether it be that place they went to in the end of season 4, non-sanctuary place, what was it called? I can't remember. Doesn't really matter. Then they found the other Alexandria, that was in the middle of fucking nowhere. Then you've got Negan's place, the sanctuary or whatever, that was in the middle of nowhere. The hilltop's in the middle of nowhere. At least with Dead City, you're in a city. It's unique. But in all these other locations, it's just like little places out in the fucking middle of nowhere, like miles from anything else. So the France show just gives you the same shit we've seen in Fear the Walking Dead and the original Walking Dead. And then third and final, the storyline. There is no real storyline here. In Dead City, from the get-go, we know what Maggie is trying to achieve. Her son has been kidnapped and she needs She needs Negan's help, essentially, to get him back. So therefore, you know what the show is about. You know what Maggie is trying to do. The reason Maggie is in Manhattan, the reason why she's in Dead City is because she needs to collect her son. She needs to rescue her son. Why the fuck is Daryl in France? We don't know. Daryl doesn't give a shit about France. He's not in France for anybody. He just happened to land in France on a fucking, like a, I don't know what it was, like a raft or something, you know, a plank of wood in the water. The guy just hits the beach like it was the beaches of Normandy, man, and that's it. Daryl Dixon's there. You know, he's in France. He doesn't care. All these people are speaking French. Daryl Dixon can't speak French, and like, why would we care? You know, yeah, his destination is to get home. But, I mean, that's not really a story. My destination's to get home. I mean, who cares? Who fucking cares? If his destination really is to get back to America, why is he doing all these wee side missions in France? Why is he trying to do, they're giving him all these wee bonus things to do? Oh, you need to do this. You need to take this kid from here to there. Why? What's the story? There's no reason. Why would Daryl Dixon care about getting some French kid from Marseille to Paris? He wouldn't care, you know, and we don't care. We don't, oh, he's supposed to grow into the man he's supposed to be. What the fuck? Why doesn't he go to Paris to grow into a man? The whole show is garbage. It really is garbage. And I'm not surprised that we've seen it drop now to 0.564. And I think it will get lower. I do think it will get lower. And I actually preferred episode 2 over the premiere. But overall, as a show, it's not interesting, and I'm not more interested, I'll tell you that. After watching episode 2, I'm not more in, even though I thought it was a slightly better episode, I wasn't more interested. In fact, I'm less interested because it done nothing really to convince me that this show is going to get better. I thought the episode was slightly better, but that doesn't mean I think the show is going to get better. And I can see the rating continuing to drop in episode 3, 4, 5, and 6. I mean, if you look at Dead City, the ratings kind of stood their ground. I mean, episode 1, you got a 0.704. Episode 2, you got a 0.706. Episode 3, you got a 0.681. Episode 4, you got a 0.697. Episode 5, you got a 0.701. And then, surprisingly, the finale got a 0.18. And that was by far the lowest rated episode of the show. But, I mean, already, this Daryl Dixon show is below the lowest rated episode of Dead City, and we're only 2 episodes in. And I mean, the Daryl Dixon premiere, the only episode that did better than of Dead City was the finale, Domo Simo. So yeah, no, I think the Daryl Dixon, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes under $500,000. I don't think it helps having just Daryl Dixon. Like I said, the guy's not an interesting character. Dead City, you've got Negan and Maggie. Some people are fans of Negan, some people are fans of Maggie. Hell, some people might be fans of both of them. At least you've got a bit of fidelity there. You know, if you might not like one, but there's a chance you might like the other. In this Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, if you're not a fan of Daryl, which I definitely am not, then why would you care? Other than Daryl Dixon, it's just a bunch of people that speak in French half the time. Why would we give a fuck? Bonjour, je m'appelle Laurie. I don't give a fuck what your name is, Laurie. I don't care. I want to see some good Walking Dead show. If I wanted to hear you speak French, I'd go back to fucking school and pay attention in my French GCSEs. I don't care about France. I don't care about listening to French. I really don't. So yeah, this show absolutely sucks. And if you look at the peak of The Walking Dead, if you're talking like the highest viewed episode of all time, I believe it was like a 17 million. So you take that 17 million and you look at what the Daryl Dixon show is currently doing now. The last episode was 0.564. So if you do the maths, if you look at the amount of people that is tuned out since The Walking Dead was at its peak in popularity in terms of TV viewership, if you take, it was like 24 people. So for every 24 people that was watching The Walking Dead at its peak, only one remains. That is insane. So when The Walking Dead was at its best, out of every 24 people that were watching back then at the beginning of season 7, only one out of those 24 remained. That's like it's massive. It's incredible. Like, we're talking like the amount of, and we've seen there's some shows, you know, we got wrestling or whatever, NFL. We've seen shows drop off, okay? We've seen shows that have lost its popularity, but never has a show went from the height of The Walking Dead to the lows of The Walking Dead. It's actually incredible, the fact that for every 24 people that they had watching season 7, only one person out of every 24 remains. I mean, that's incredible. That's like you putting 24 people in a room and they were all watching The Walking Dead season 7 religiously, and now that same 24 people, 23 of them have given up and only one person remains to watch. That's fucking madness. And it's not because the people are thinking, oh, I don't want to watch The Walking Dead anymore for no reason. There is a reason. And the reason is the shows went to shit. And they should have just ended it on a high. Or if you're going to create spin-offs, at least give us good spin-offs. Don't give us this garbage. I mean, Dead City wasn't great, but it was better than this. It was better than this France shit, and I think the Rick show will be better than this France stuff too, but no, this Daryl Dixon thing for me is a complete write-off, and we're guaranteed 2 seasons of this. We're guaranteed 2 seasons. They said there's going to be a minimum of 2 seasons, 2 seasons of Dead City, 2 seasons of Daryl Dixon, and 2 seasons of Rick and Michonne, whatever they're going to call that. And another thing, the name of this show, how fucking garbage can you get? I mean, how... the name Daryl Dixon, where's the creativity? Where is it? Daryl Dixon. They've just took his name and they've literally put it at the end of the walkie. I mean, that baffles me, man. I'm lost for words here. Like Dead City's kind of, oh, they're going into Manhattan City and it's full of dead, so we're going to call it Dead. That works, I'm not saying it's the most creative name ever. It's not. But The Walking Dead, Dead City, I'll give it a thumbs up. The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. I mean, what? Why? Why would you not come up with a better name than this? How hard would it fucking be? What about The Walking Dead, the boring man or whatever, like, give us, do something. Don't what this is, the fucking the redneck, Walking Dead, the redneck, I don't know, do something. Walking Dead, the man that loves a crossbow, Walking Dead, the man that grunts his way through every season and is boring as hell and should have died a long time ago. I mean, there's other names you could have used. I mean, you could have called it something. It's in France. You could have gave it a French name. You could have, I don't know, there could have been something good that you could have done. But no, you don't give us anything good. You give us The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. That sums it up, man. Daryl fucking Dixon. Right, guys, I've talked too much about this, but yeah, The Walking Dead, what an absolute shit show. Obviously, we'll watch the last 4 episodes, but I am not interested, I am not intrigued, and I'm not expecting this show to improve. I'm really not. In fact, I'm probably expecting it to get worse. Episode 2, it felt like filler. It did. Even though I thought it was slightly better, it did feel like filler because he starts the episode with a horse. He needs a horse. So he needs a horse to get transportation from one city in France to another. At the very beginning of the episode, he cuts the horse loose so that they wouldn't die because the horse was making a noise and attracting walkers to them. So Daryl Dixon cuts the horse loose, and then basically the rest of the episode is him trying to get another horse, and by the very end of the episode, he has another horse. So, I mean, it was basically a full episode about, let's get rid of a horse just so we can try and get another one. Let's cut a perfectly good horse loose so we can spend a full 50-minute filler episode trying to find another. I mean, make that make sense if you can. I certainly can. Anyway, guys, that's it. Fog Entertainment. We'll catch you in the next one. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. The Walking Dead, it's a tough watch these days. It really fucking is. It's incredibly tough. So, yeah, give us a like. Definitely deserve a like for him to sit and watch this stuff. Episode 3 is going to be called Paris sera toujours Paris. So, I guess it's going to be something to do with Paris. Catch you in that one, guys. Till then, though, peace.